make sure everything's...
And that's how we found out all about the Pixel 2.
Huh, that's weird. I'm not getting anything. Oh, okay. It's... Oh, it should be getting the output from test 1 2. Oh, there it goes. It wasn't working earlier. That's better. Okay, we're good.
So, David, did you have a chance to look at your Galaxy S8?
I did not do that yet. What update did it bring?
It went through all of the updates that have been released. Like it got the first one, and then immediately after rebooting, got the second one, rebooted, got the third one.
Wow. Okay, Samsung, good job.
Yeah. So I mean, I just emailed them about this the other day. I was like, hey, you guys ever gonna fix this? Because I would like to actually see future features on this phone.
Yeah, that happened last year with S7 units.
It didn't happen with mine.
Definitely happened with mine, both of them. Yeah, it was very annoying. And I think it happened with the S6 too.
What did they? What carrier did they send out last year? Do you remember?
Last year they gave me AT&T because I asked. And I looked at the software version, and it was like, they were like, oh, you should just have the same software version that everybody else does, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, it's version XYZ. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't have that.
It might have just been.
This conversation went.
I think it might have been because you had the AT&T ones, because I'm pretty sure that I had Verizon and they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Basically, Samsung is just kind of bad at updates in general.
Mm-hmm.
That about Samsung, it really is that they're bad at updates.
Yep.
They are. Okay. Look at the sheet thing. Sorry. Okay, Pixel 2 leaks. A bunch of reviews. KFC phone.
Okay. For some reason, I was signed out of my Google account on the Z2 Play.
That happened to me too, on the Z2 Play.
Huh.
It must have been something they pushed.
Huh. God damn it. Two-factor off.
Yeah. I just have it set that like 3 phones can act as the yes or no thing for me.
I tried to do that for a while, but then it seemed like every time I needed to do it, I didn't have one of those phones.
Yeah. I have it on my backup Pixel, I have it on the OnePlus 5, and then on my regular Pixel 2. Okay. So we'll talk about Pixel 2, then we talk about phone reviews, at least of people who wrote them that are here, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Oh, I can turn on Privacy Badger again. Woohoo.
Okay.
All right.
I think we are good to go then. Oh, the camera's stuck on the logo. Whoops. I must have pressed that. I did press that. My fault.
Jeez, David. Stop breaking.
I'm just bad at basically every aspect of this. All of it. Oh no, I just checked my S8 Plus. It says it's up to date.
Huh. Well, I just have the regular one, so maybe it's just a.
Though I don't have the T-Mobile SIM in it. So
I didn't either when I got the update. So
okay. All right. I guess Samsung just sucks. Okay. Okay. I think we're good to go then. All right. Actually, good to go. Let me close out Slack and have that up and that. All right. Welcome to the Android Police Podcast. I'm your host, David Ruddick.
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
I'm Cody Toombs.
And I'm Corbin Davenport.
And we have things to talk about this week. I think you may already know what we're going to talk about. And that is, of course, we posted a picture of what we believe is going to be the 2017 version of the larger Pixel phone. Calling it the XL for now, but don't know if that's 100% for sure how Google's going to do things. So you've likely seen it on the site because a lot of you read that article. And I guess we can kind of discuss our reactions to it. I've been looking at it for a while, so everybody else is kind of getting their first look as of 2 days ago. So what does everybody think?
It's real pretty.
It really is.
I think our render assists in the prettiness factor for sure.
So are you saying that the real phone isn't that pretty?
I don't know if the real phone's that pretty. I can't be 100% sure about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Pixel 2 does look very nice, but at the same time, I'm far more interested in the smaller model, which doesn't seem like it will change very much.
Yeah, that seems to be understanding. I can't say I'm 100% sure that it won't share this design language, but yeah, it doesn't sound like it will.
I mean, I like using the regular Pixel, but if I were going to just have a phone that was the phone I used all the time, it would be an XL, I think.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, it probably won't be footprint-wise any substantially bigger than the current Pixel XL.
Yeah, but I mean, I think what we learned from the Galaxy S8 Plus is that even if the footprint isn't that big, it can still be kind of unpleasant to use if the screen covers the entire front of the phone.
Yeah, though this is a smaller display, so the Galaxy S8 Plus is 6.2 inches. This will be 6 inches, and it's a 2-to-1 aspect ratio, whereas the Galaxy S8 Plus is 19 for the Galaxy phones.
It's some weird aspect ratio.
I think it's 18.5.
Yeah.
9. So they're even longer than this will be. So we're pretty confident. Yeah, it's a 2-to-1 display ratio. So which is I think what the LG G6 has, and I assume probably what the LG V30 will have when that gets unveiled.
And I mean, and apparently this phone will be built by LG and will have one of LG's new OLED screens that we are going to probably see first on the V20.
Yeah, on the V30, I'm sure. And all we're going to hear from here on out is that the Pixel XL is just a rebadged V30, basically saying it's going to get obnoxious.
I will say that from the render, the giant camera does look a bit goofy.
Yeah, I'm also unsure if the model we rendered out is the quite black color, which I think is making a return this year. I don't know if the black one will have the silvered camera ring. It may be blacked out on that version of the phone, but we don't know. So there's certain, like I said in the post, what we're working with here is non-final. I think in terms of the design language 100%. I'm not going to say like this was a concept or anything. The phone has got to be pretty near done, but I think little things could be different. I wouldn't discount that possibility for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if this is going to come out in like October-ish this year, then it'll probably have to go into production in the next month or so.
Yeah, and I'm sure that I'm sure full design prototypes are actually already out there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that there are Googlers using this phone right now.
Yep. And they are not using them to take pictures of statues.
This time.
What a crazy day that was.
That was so fun. I will never forget that.
We are, of course, talking about the Nexus 5 when a Googler was caught taking a picture of the Android statue.
Yeah, such a big grin on his face too, doing it. It was perfect.
He knew what he was doing.
I actually saw somebody using a Nexus 5 the other day. It's fun.
That's wild. I wonder how the battery must last like 5 minutes. I guess you can actually replace the battery on that fairly easily though, so that's fair.
Yeah.
And that was before the awful boot loops, right? Like that wasn't a boot loopy prone device.
Don't believe
the 5 didn't have boot loops, but what it did have, which happened to mine, was that the power button would get stuck in the down position. So it wasn't like a boot loop, but it would like constantly reboot because I thought you were holding it down.
You have like bad luck with phones.
Yeah, that's the other reason I'm not like
that is part of it, in fact.
Yeah. That's the other reason I'm not too excited about the Pixel XL, because LG is making it.
Yeah. But so like I am concerned that LG's new displays, when they come out, they might not be very good. I mean, the last couple of years, Google has managed to get, Nexus and then Pixel phones that have Samsung AMOLEDs, which are, undeniably very good panels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a valid concern. We obviously don't know what LG's panels look like, but I think when the V30 comes out, we'll immediately learn what the Pixel screen will look
I mean,
like.
it'll probably be it might be the exact same panel even.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm honestly guessing it will be the same screen. So yeah, I'm curious to see.
The last time LG made a phone with an OLED, I think it was the Flex 2, right?
Yes, and that was the POLED, which is the plastic OLED. So it was a flexible panel.
As I recall, it was not a very good screen.
It was not. It had this modeling effect on
it. Yeah, that's like what Samsung's AMOLEDs looked like back in like the Galaxy Nexus era.
Yeah, and even then they weren't that bad. The LG one looked like dirty. It was just not good. It also developed like parts of the display would die, and you get these black pock marks on the screen. So it was not a good situation. There's a reason they didn't make any more POLED phones. I think the yields were not very good, probably, and the failure rate was probably pretty high.
But Google has apparently invested a large sum of money in LG's OLED operation.
And I mean, I guess what choice do they have if Apple's going to OLED for AMOLED for the iPhone 8?
Yeah, that's going to drive up the cost of OLED considerably.
Yeah, definitely. And there's the complete lack of access to screens. Samsung won't be able to supply anybody else but themselves and Apple probably in any meaningful quantity.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not terribly concerned about LG building the phone, I don't think. I think that's probably going to be fine. I would bet that Google is this year probably amping up their involvement in the design and R&D process as they learn more about building phones. And so I would bet LG is probably going to be building more to spec than HTC was last year with this phone. Yeah. And I think it says to Google's confidence that if they would split manufacturers, one by HTC and one by LG.
It's like they're giving HTC the easy one. Like, do what you did last year with different stuff inside.
Yeah. At least that's supposedly the plan.
Yeah.
As far as features on it, the one thing that we unfortunately weren't able to learn based on our information is whether or not the phone will have a headphone jack. So I know Stephen Hall had intimated that it would not months and months ago on Twitter, and then XDA, I believe, said too that it wouldn't have one, right?
I mean, I've heard both, but I think the rumors are leaning towards it not having one, which I guess would not surprise me. This feels like the year when it's just going to be kind of the way it is.
Yeah, it's the tough luck. Everyone has to go the way of the no headphone jack, even if it makes no sense.
Yeah, so it would be kind of a bummer if they did that. If they get rid of the headphone jack but don't add waterproofing, like that would be.
Look, this phone absolutely has to have waterproofing. If it doesn't,
Jeff is joining us as a surprise guest at some point.
He's apparently still setting up product.
Oh, he was shy.
But imagine if Google tries to sell this phone without a water-resistant design when every other phone in this price bracket has it.
Yeah, that would be quite strange. I think they have to have it.
That's become just an expected thing now. I mean, if you have a phone that doesn't have a removable battery and you don't go to the trouble of doing waterproofing, you can't charge what I'm sure Google is going to want to charge for this phone.
Yeah, then again, Google. So, yeah, we'll see.
And of course, none of this matters if they only build 4 of them. So...
Yeah. Somebody made a joke on Twitter to me. They should call it "Actually Can Buy It Black and In Stock Silver."
That is pretty good.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely something they're going to get right this time. I'm curious to see if the price of the XL is going to go up this year as a result of. I guess the screen is definitely going to probably up the bill of materials cost.
What's the XL now? Is it 760?
770.
770. I could see 800, like 799.
I would not be surprised if we see 850.
I think that's too much. What's the Note 8 is going to be like 900 probably.
Yeah. So this will also start at 64 gigabytes of storage.
I still feel like 850 is just That's too much.
Yeah, that's another reason
totally.
why I like the smaller Pixel.
I mean, but I feel like I think that they can't have that much of a gap between the cheap one and like the nice one, because then a lot of people are going to get the cheap one, and I think Google wants people to have the better one.
Maybe, yeah, we'll see what the pricing strategy is. Because what Apple's doing this year is obviously they're going to tier out an ultra premium iPhone to separate from the rest of the plebeian iPhones.
Yeah, and an iPhone that might not have a fingerprint sensor because Apple is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I hadn't heard about that. What is the story with that?
So they're doing like the screen that covers the entire front.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to work out the in-display fingerprint sensor. And apparently, according to analysts who have studied Apple's supply chain, they haven't done that yet because they have not ordered the ICs for fingerprint sensors.
Oh yeah, they're in like full panic mode. I read an article about this.
So they might either like at the last minute try to repurpose the sensors they have to do like a rear-facing sensor, or they might just not. They might just not have a fingerprint sensor.
Wow, that would be such a, oh my god! And I can imagine the way they'd spin
and their
that.
supposedly their big unlock strategy is they want to go with facial recognition. Which,
but that wouldn't be good enough for Apple Pay. So like every time you use that, you would have to put in a password or something.
Okay, so the article I read that said Apple was in panic mode was related to software problems with the wireless charging and 3D sensor.
Well, I'm sure if they haven't figured out the fingerprint sensor, they're panicking over that too.
They're having a lot of issues over there.
Yeah, though to some extent, I think a lot of it has more to do with the Pro than it does with.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that, but I think we can, Google is playing it a little safe on the design again this year. I think it's a nice evolution that they've done. I think expanding the glass window in particular to kind of wrap around all the way to the edges looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, it looks like a modern smartphone, whereas the Pixel now, it looks fine, but it does not match the aesthetics of other phones in its price range.
No, it does not. And I think the other thing that makes this look kind of slick to me is the lack of antenna bands. So I don't know if there are going to be some, or we're just not really able to see them.
I feel like there's going to be some sort of. Well, it has the glass section at the top.
Yeah.
So they might have just been able to cram everything up in there.
That'd be interesting if they do that. I feel like they have to have some bands along. Even the Galaxy S8 has bands along the edges, on the top and the bottom. Yeah. They're blended to the body color, but they're definitely there.
Remember when LG released the G5 and they were like, "Look, we made the antenna lines invisible. Isn't that cool?" And then you could.
Oh, I wonder if that's what this. Oh, that would be bad if it is, though.
Yeah, because that phone, like, you could still see the antenna lines, and it felt not good.
Yeah, I hope Google didn't do that. That'd be bad.
This phone, hopefully, it's like the same materials as the current one, because the Pixel feels very nice.
It does.
I like that it is a phone that is predominantly made of metal, when so many other phones are like, nope, glass. Here's all this nice breakable glass all over your phone. At least Google's like, no, it's mostly metal.
Yeah. I think moving the fingerprint scanner below the window makes sense.
Yeah, it looks a little bit weird in the render, but I mean, it might be fine in real life.
I'm sure. I hope the scanner is faster. That's really all I hope for.
Yeah. I mean, the Pixel scanner, I think when it came out, it was fine. Like, it was fast enough, and now it's starting to feel not competitive enough.
Yeah, exactly. There's that. The other thing we see on this render here is the speaker grill. The opening for the earpiece speaker is quite wide, Nexus 6P-esque even. It is big. So I'm wondering if we're going to see Google adopt a dual speaker arrangement on this phone, where you have the earpiece speaker and then the bottom firing speaker working together.
That'd be so nice. That's one of the things I really miss about my 5X was the front-facing speakers.
I think that one just had one, but still, front-facing speaker.
Yeah.
better than the bottom firing speaker, because it's right where your finger is usually resting. So
yeah, that drives me crazy right now.
Yes.
Hi, Jeff. Your microphone is set to the wrong microphone.
And Jeff Beck. All right, I'll switch it over.
But he's gonna go. He's gonna go away again now for a minute so that he can fix his microphone.
Let me just introduce you and then immediately criticize you.
Well, I jumped in just to laugh at Corbin here, so that's my only purpose here so far.
Yes.
Hold on, I'll go fix my mic.
So the other thing we heard kind of elaborated on today in another XDA leak is the XDA is corroborating our information about the squeezable frame. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so they said that I guess it'll primarily be for assistant. So you squeeze the phone whether it's awake or asleep, and you can get assistant. So you could just like have the phone in your hand and just like give it a little squeeze and start talking to it.
Which makes sense. But at the same time, I just didn't really like using EdgeSense very much. And if this is like that, then I probably won't use it.
I like
I still
EdgeSense,
think this
I
is
guess.
really funny.
I mean, I didn't dislike it, I guess, as much as you did. If it's just that it didn't really do much that I cared about.
But it could do that. It could launch Assistant.
Yeah, but like the default, I think the default settings are like are the camera and
the flashlight. Yeah.
And it doesn't. I don't remember. Would it be able to launch Assistant while the phone was asleep? I don't remember.
That's a good question. Actually, I don't know. Good point. Because without trusted voice, it wouldn't be able to unlock the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. So I mean, if Google does this well, I mean, it could be an interesting feature. Although I haven't used any cases on the U11. Like how does that work? I wonder.
I'm guessing it doesn't work as well. There's a case on there. I'm guessing it still works. It's just pressure. So there's nothing. There's no capacitance. Nothing like that's involved. It doesn't have to be a real hand.
Maybe
as long as you have something like a silicone case.
You could squeeze with a prosthetic hand, and EdgeSense would work.
That's good to know. I had been wondering if I could just get a prosthetic hand to operate my phone, and now I know that I can.
You can if you have an HTC U11. All 12 of you.
You know what they should do? They should make it where if you squeeze the Pixel 2 to open Assistant, it makes a different noise. Like it'll say "Hey" when you squeeze it.
No, it should say "Ow."
Yeah. Don't do that.
Ow, how can I help?
I mean, I think when this comes out, somebody needs to come up with some sort of root implementation of that. I don't care what it takes. That seems like a thing that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think overall, though, the render we've put out here just points to it's an evolved design. I think that again this year, software and performance is going to tell most of the story for the Pixel. Moving to the 2:1 aspect ratio screen is important, but I don't think the Pixel is a phone that is built on the purpose of just sheer engineering wow like Samsung's.
It seems like Google is in a position to do what they need to do to make the hardware competitive, but I mean they're not like trying to come up with a bunch of new ideas that's gonna blow everybody else away from a design perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I like the direction it's going, but yeah, I don't see anything too crazy happening. And but it's out there now, so you have kind of an idea of what it'll look like. And hopefully at some point we'll get a better idea of what the smaller phone looks like, but no promises.
Oh, one other thing XDA mentioned that I thought was kind of funny. They apparently think that the Easter egg in Android O on the Pixel is going to have an octopus involved.
Okay,
so
that's fine.
What if Google decides this time they're going to stop naming things after sweets and they're just going to name it after an animal? What if it actually is? What if it actually is Android Octopus?
I would be okay with that. That'd be fine. Great.
I would be okay with it if they left the octopus emoji alone.
Okay, I would be okay with it only because the amount of internet comment rage that would inspire would just be biblical. It would be so bad. Oh my God.
Are there Android or are there animals that start with Q? Would that be easier than finding a treat that starts with Q?
Oh yeah, it's a tough one.
That's the only reason I could think of.
I just think it's gonna have to be Android Q-tip. That's just.
They'll have to
start with Q.
partner with Johnson & Johnson or whatever to.
According to Sky Animals,
Quail. Quetzal.
Oh, Android
There we go.
Quail. There you go.
I could
There you
get
go.
behind that.
It's the California state bird too. So
That's,
great.
Okay, I'm going out on a limb here. Can we start the rumor that Google is going to change to animal names?
Yep.
Yes,
Android
you
Quail.
heard it here first.
Yep, it'll be, this is Android Octopus, then Android Platypus, then Android Quail.
And then Android Rhinoceros.
Yes.
Yeah, it has to
This
be
is so much better.
It is. I like it better already. You can correspond them with like emoji. The emoji can be themed to the mascot. Just get rid of the bug droid. I'm tired of the bug droid anyway. It can go away. Can you imagine what would happen if Google retired the bug droid?
Ooh,
People would just.
We'd have to disable the comments on that post. That wouldn't be.
It's actually just a picture of one of the statues just tipped over on in the Google campus with the head popped off.
People would hold a vigil at the statues. They would be standing in front of them with candles.
There'd be a picture of like someone knocked over the jelly bean statue, and all the jelly beans would be scattered.
Oh yes, that would be good. Yeah, so that's our Pixel 2 XL leak, which I think, everything you see in the picture is basically what we know, aside from the squeezable thing. You can't see squeezability, unfortunately, but trust us, it's there. It lies beneath. So we should probably move on to we have some phone reviews to discuss. Actually, like a handful of phone reviews.
A lot of reviews.
A lot of reviewing. This is a review. So let's begin with the Moto Z2 Play.
So I wrote the review. David and I both have the phone, and I think we mostly agree on the state of this thing, in that it's kind of like, it's not a bad phone, but it's just kind of, I don't know, why does it exist?
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely where I am on it too, especially if you're looking at the unlocked version. The unlocked version makes no sense at all.
Yeah. So right now you can buy it on Verizon. It is available. It is I think it retails for $400, but Verizon has a sale on it right now, so I think it's like, I don't know, it's like a couple bucks less a month. But the thing is, so last year the Moto Z Play, it had a very large battery for the size. It was a little bit over 3,500 milliamp hours for a device with a 1080p screen. Like that's very good. It got insane battery life. And then this year, for whatever reason, Motorola decided they would make it a millimeter thinner and cut 500 and some odd milliamp hours off of the battery size. So it's 3,000 now instead of 35, whatever. I mean, it still gets good battery life compared to other phones. I've been seeing like almost 8 hours of screen time most days, which I think is good. But compared to last year, it's several hours. Yeah, roundabout
8
there,
hours of screen time without the battery mod.
Yeah, without the battery mod. I mean, that's just like flat out like running the screen constantly. That's not like over, it would probably go about a day and a half with like, normal usage. But, and like, and obviously like a little bit less screen time. But like compared to what the phone was capable of last year, that's, about 4 hours less. Because that phone, if you just ran the screen, constantly, it would go about 12 hours. And so, I mean, there's no reason for it to have worse battery life. I don't know why they would do that. It seems like they didn't understand why people liked that phone, because I mean, it's a millimeter thinner, big deal, and it has worse battery life. So, whatever.
Because mods.
I guess. I don't know.
Mods.
So, yeah, so this is supposed to be the cheapest way to get into the Moto mod ecosystem, if that is something that you want to do. I don't know who really does want to do that, but there will be a new high-end Moto Z phone in probably a couple of weeks, and that one I'm sure will cost whatever, like $700. So, and then you add on to that the cost of mods, and it's pretty ridiculous. At least with this phone, if you decide you want mods, you're not spending like $1,000. And so Motorola released 2 new mods alongside this phone. There's the speaker mod, and there is the turbo power mod. So these are both just new versions of what they had last year. So there's the speaker, flips onto the back of the phone, goes on the mod connector, and then the turbo power mod. The turbo power mod is actually kind of cool if you just want a lot of battery life. It fast charges the phone this year, and last year the battery mod did not do that. and it's a much higher capacity. So I mean, the phone will run for like probably 3 days, 4 days with the battery mod attached. If you don't use it a lot, it is it is a good thing. The speaker still does not make sense to me. I don't know why you would buy this instead of a Bluetooth speaker, because it only works when it is physically connected to the phone. And then
it doesn't make any sense.
You can't like pick it up and carry it around while you're listening to music, because you're going to be covering the speaker with your hand. And it's giant and heavy with the speaker attached, and just unpleasant. It is not a good thing. It looks a little bit nicer than last year, though. It has a nice fabric covering on the speakers.
Did they send the red one to you?
It did.
That's vile.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's too.
It's very loud. It's very Verizon.
That's Red Nexus 5 territory.
Yeah, but I mean, the big problem with this phone is that they made it less good than last year, which is mind-boggling. And then at the same time, they made the G series better. The Moto G5 Plus has a Snapdragon 625 and up to 4 gigs of RAM. And this phone, the base model, it's a Snapdragon 626, which is basically the same thing, and 3 gigs of RAM. It's like $180 more than the Moto G5 Plus. I don't know why anybody would buy it.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. And also, this is one of the buggiest new phones I've tested in a long time. I've had a lot of weird problems.
The signal is not good. Like it. I feel like something is wrong. They're going to have to do some sort of radio patch or something. I don't know. But I put a screen in the review comparing the Pixel with the same SIM card in the same place, that signal versus the Z2 Play, and it's considerably worse on the Z2 Play.
Yeah, I definitely had signal issues. I would flip to 3G or 1X, which is something that never happens to me on any other phone on Verizon at all. I also had issues with apps crashing. Like I just started the Z2 Play back up. I've had it off for the last few days, and Twitter is just crashing nonstop for no reason, just doing that. Google Inbox crashes all the time on this phone for me.
I've had the home screen crash a couple of times.
Yeah, I feel like this phone is not fully baked in some ways. This is unusual. I can't remember last time I tested a phone with these kinds of problems.
And it does the weird Moto Display thing, where if you just leave it sitting, it will just randomly wake up Moto Display, even if there's not a new notification.
Yeah, and it's because I think on this, they don't have the proximity sensor. I think they're relying on motion.
But when I think they have a proximity sensor, they don't have like the IR sensors or whatever they had on the
Moto X. And this one, so if I take this in my car, for example, and when I take my phone in the car, put it in the cup holder because the Bluetooth reception is much better and it's just more convenient, the Moto Display will turn on constantly every 15 seconds, forever. And it sucks the battery.
It does that like just sitting on my desk. I don't know what's causing it.
It does it to mine too. Like I can sit there perfectly still and it will just come on for no reason.
Yeah, I'm sitting here right now looking at the phone, and it's doing it like right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It senses you want to see your notifications.
Also, easily the worst Bluetooth performance I've seen anything this side of a Pixel. Like it is bad. I had to restart the phone before it would pair with my car, and then it would connect to my car sometimes, but then it would only do phone audio. The media audio wouldn't connect, and then I'd have to turn off my car and turn phone. Yeah,
this is the future.
So ridiculous. Yeah, I had a pretty bad experience with this phone, honestly. I was very happy to stop using it. Also, the camera's not very good.
Yeah, the camera's very mediocre. I think it's about on par with the G5 Plus, which again is like $100 and some odd cheaper.
Yeah, and to be clear, so the unlocked version of this phone, Moto wants $500, which is obscene.
Oh, did they want that much? I thought it was going to be $450.
I believe it's $499.
Oh boy, that's a much bigger gap than last year. I think they just wanted 50 more last year for the unlocked one.
Let's see here.
Because I think $400 was about where the Moto X was rumored to start. Whenever that comes out.
How is that not coming up as our first item? Okay, here we go. $499. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that is unacceptable.
Completely ridiculous.
That is $100 more for the unlocked one is not okay.
That is insulting a little bit.
Even $50 more, I think, is dumb. But you can kind of understand because Verizon, I'm sure, insisted on that. But $100 more is $500 for the unlocked one is insane when you can get a OnePlus 5 for $20 less than that.
And I believe so. The one thing to know this year is that the Z2 Play being sold on Verizon is actually the same phone as the unlocked model, all the same bands supported. So it is 4-carrier compatible, I believe. So there is that. But Verizon's version is network unlocked too. So you know, it's like, okay, why would you do that? It's like Motorola doesn't want to sell any of these.
Will Verizon sell you a phone if you're not a customer?
No. No, they won't do that. I think I tried once, and they would not do that. Makes sense though.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are in Verizon and you can get a good deal on this, you know, I'd say it, you know, if it works out to be like what, $350-$370, like that's fairish, sure. But
yeah,
still not a great deal.
I think they're giving a free speaker mod with it, which again is not awesome. But like, if it's free, I guess it's free, whatever. If you just want to set your phone down someplace for it to play music every now and then, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, the Z2 Play, well, I had kind of a bad experience in some ways. I would not be happy if I had this phone.
Yeah, I mean, it gets above average battery life for me. Like, it's better than the OnePlus 5 by a little bit. Not more than a little, probably like, you know, 20% better. But you have to get a phone that is frankly not as comfortable to hold and not as fast and has a worse camera. And I don't love the OnePlus 5's camera, but like, this camera feels like it's a very mid-range sort of camera.
Yeah, and the ergonomic thing is a good point. Without any mod or style cover on this thing, it is uncomfortable to hold.
Yeah, it is, and especially like if you set it down on a flat surface and you try to pick it up, it's not like the curved sides, and it's just thin enough that you can't get a good grip. And
I've dropped this phone 3 times already. And like one of them was like a bad drop, like an, oh no, did I break it? When I was at the airport. So I was using it, I was putting up, you know, I had my boarding pass out and I went to go put the phone up and I was holding my headphones in the other hand and I didn't have a good grip on the phone and the battery mod was on and it just dropped.
Yeah. And like the worst is if you like destroy a phone like in front of other people and you have to be like, well.
Oh yeah, the TSA agent was like, it was a thing. And then I dropped it again the other day, just walking around with it. Yeah, it's just an awkward phone to hold. I'm kind of upset they didn't send any style covers because I would have rather used it with one.
Yeah, I broke out one of the ones that I had from the Z phones last year. I mean, and I guess, you know, nice thing if they're going to stick to the mods is like all the stuff from last year works. It fits just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the completely flat back, it's just very, I don't know. It's lame.
It is. It's not great. So I think that's kind of the overview on Z2 Play.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a shoulder shrug phone.
Yeah, I definitely think so. So Corbin did his first smartphone review for Android Police this past week. And so Corbin, tell us a little bit about this mid-range phone on AT&T, the LG X Venture.
Well, I was not expecting a lot from this, mainly because it, like on paper, it just didn't look all that great. It has a Snapdragon 430, which at, I believe, full price, it's like $320. It's not great, but actually, here, let me switch my camera so I can see what I'm doing. This is the phone. So it kind of has this rubberized back that looks like every phone from 2012.
Yeah, it really does look like it's from 2012. Yes. Like, it's impressive.
It's got the physical navigation buttons too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. One of my camera's terrible. Yeah. But what this phone is it's sort of bread and butter is it's very durable. So it's got like this whole, like, I think it's aluminum. Or I can't remember, it is whatever material it is, but it's got like these reinforced corners, and of course the rubberized backing means it probably won't break as easily. It's also IP68 rated, so you can get this wet. Another cool feature is that it has this little orange button. Well, it's not really orange on my camera, but it's a button, and LG calls it the quick button. And by default, it opens the, let me see if I can do it. Oh, I have it remapped. Okay. By default, it opens this sort of application that shows like your altitude and GPS stuff. It's like a weather toolkit or outdoor toolkit, but you can remap it to open stuff. So like here, I've got it so that I click it and it opens Google search. So it's very handy. You can even set different actions for holding it down or double clicking it. So there's a lot of yeah. I even said like, hey, Samsung, you could learn a thing or two from this $300 phone. The other thing that really impressed me about this phone was how fast it was. Like I was kind of expecting. I haven't used a Snapdragon 400 series phone in ages. I think my last one that I tried was the original Moto G. So I wasn't expecting it to be very fast, but this speeds through everything. I didn't have any slowdowns. Animations are pretty smooth. Not as smooth as on my Google Pixel, but it's generally a very quick phone. The kind of downsides to it was that first of all, it has a micro USB, which I know there's not many phones at this price point that have a Type C, but still, I would like the Type C.
But it
has a headphone.
It's 300.
It's 320, I believe.
I feel like at that point, it should have a Type C now.
Yeah, and also I think it probably should have a 600 series processor. The other thing that wasn't great on this phone was the camera. It wasn't good.
I will say that the outdoor shots from it, like not blown up at full resolution, like they look pretty decent.
Yeah,
but
it's
that
not
for sure.
Yeah,
there's that
the performance. Yeah, the performance indoor just tanks. It's pretty bad. Also, this was the first time I've used LG's Android skin because my two other LG phones were Nexuses, so they had obviously full stock Android. Everything's white. Like just
yeah,
everything.
That is LG's thing now. White with light teal accents.
Just everything is white. It's really not fun to use at night. But they didn't make any super deep changes to Android. I mean, using it is pretty, stock Android. They didn't change a whole lot. There is like a weird NFC indicator in the status bar that did get a little annoying. Oh, that's another thing that's really nice about this phone. It does have NFC, so you can use Android Pay.
Okay, that's a plus for sure that you don't always see in the mid range.
Yeah. So that actually comes down to really the other problem is that there's not a whole lot of phones in this sort of $300 price point anymore. They're all like around 200 to like 275, something like that. Or they jump up to like $400, $500. So for about Ryan, do you know where the G5 Plus starts?
230 or 220.
Yeah, so for basically $100 less, you get a better processor and more RAM and more. It's closer to stock Android.
Yeah, I mean, and it works. It works on every carrier.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This is locked. This is only sold by AT&T. It only works on AT&T. It's kind of the sad thing. It's the same problem with the Galaxy Active series. So yeah, for $100 less, I think the Moto G5 is a better overall phone for most people. Yeah, but I
haven't used this LG phone, but I mean the Moto G5 does have better specs, except for NFC. It doesn't have NFC.
Right. So it kind of comes down to like, do you want a better overall budget phone, or do you want something that you can drop repeatedly and use Android Pay with?
Yeah, I think the durability thing is definitely going to be their whole angle of this phone. That and the battery. I mean, the battery's going to last a long time.
I totally forgot to mention that. That's my favorite part about this phone was the battery life, because I'm coming from a Pixel where I'm lucky if I get 3 hours of screen on time. I was easily getting 6 and 7 with this phone. It's very nice. And let me take the case off my Pixel so I can compare it. not coming off easily. There we go. Okay. So this is my Pixel right here. It's just the 5-inch one. And this is the LG one. So there's not a huge size difference, but there is a significant battery increase, which I liked. I will gladly take a few millimeters for more battery life.
And this also has a micro SD card slot, so that's probably worth noting too.
Yes, it has expandable
out
storage.
decently for a cheap phone.
Yeah, I think it's going to appeal to a very specific type of customer who is on AT&T, doesn't want to leave, and wants something ruggedized and relatively inexpensive. It seems like it fills a niche.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now, by the way?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I was actually just talking to no one for the last 5 minutes.
Still from the wrong microphone, but it's okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I think if LG at some point lowered the price of this phone to maybe like $270, $280 and sold it unlocked at that price, I think this would be a very, very good phone. But I'm stands,
I'm sure AT&T has some sort of control over that.
Yeah, I'm sure that probably won't happen, but it'd be nice. Yeah. So this is it's a good phone. It's if you really need a durable phone.
All right, and our final review that we'll be covering this week, and we go over kind of quickly here, is the Moto E4, which obviously a lot of reviews are already out there, and it costs $130. So it's not much of a story to tell, other than it's probably the best phone for that money out there.
Yeah, really. I mean, if you're gonna pay as little as possible for a phone, you should probably get a Moto E4 because $130 for the unlocked one, which I think like the G series, it works on all major carriers. And if you buy the prepaid version for carriers, I think so far Verizon has one out, and there will be a few more. It's $70. $70, which is
that's
a really good deal. And I mean, it's not the fastest phone ever. I mean, it has a Snapdragon 425. It has 2 gigs of RAM though. And it has 16 gigs of storage with 128. If you use the SD card slot, it's better than the last widely released Moto E, and it's a little bit cheaper. And I mean, it's still not. I mean, it's not the most attractive phone ever. I mean, it looks like like all of Motorola's other phones, except the back. It's like plastic. It actually the back cover actually snaps off on this phone, which is where all of the SIM card and the micro SD card go. And it has a removable battery, so if you want to pry that out and
fancy.
You don't see that often.
Wow, that's unusual.
Does LG have a removable battery?
Oh no, it doesn't, because it's got the covering for water protection.
Yes, I mean, this has been a thing on a couple of cheaper Moto phones, I think, because they sell them in markets where people still want to be able to do that because they don't have consistent access to power. So you can charge up a few batteries and just swap them in. It has a micro USB port, but I think that makes sense considering how cheap this phone is, and they want to sell it in markets where people don't have Type-C cables readily available. And I mean, it's not a fast phone, but it's not really as slow as you would expect. The Motorola has optimized well. It has a number of the Moto enhancements. It doesn't do all of the Moto Action stuff, but it does have Moto Display. And under the display there, it has got a fingerprint sensor on a phone that costs $70.
That's remarkable, actually.
Yeah,
it is great, and it's a pretty good sensor. It's almost as fast as the ones they put on the G series and the Z phones. It's certainly it's as accurate though. I mean, I don't have any like the weird misreads. It's better than the Galaxy S8's fingerprint sensor, and that phone costs a lot more money.
Yeah, tell me I'm using one right now. So.
Yeah,
so I mean,
like Motorola kind of nailed it as much as you can nail it.
I mean,
$100
for a phone this cheap, like there is nothing to complain about. If you need a phone that is just really, really inexpensive, even if you just need like a backup phone, like you're worried your phone is going to die for some reason, this is a really good price.
Yeah, I've spent more than that on a date at Red Robin. Man, that's pretty cheap right there.
Yeah, it is. It is inexpensive for sure. And actually, a tip: if you buy one from Republic Wireless, I think it's $100, and you don't have to buy service from them. I think you can just buy the phone. It's the same phone.
Yeah. Oh, and weirdly, the Verizon phone, even though Verizon doesn't lock most of their phones, they do lock prepaid phones. So if you buy the $70 one, it will only work on Verizon.
Yes, they do that. So that is worth noting for sure. And you can also buy the Amazon Prime version, which is $100, and yeah, but it's going to have, Amazon ads on it, which maybe you're willing to deal with, save $30. I mean, I don't know. Especially if it's a backup phone, then who cares?
Yeah, really. Yeah, just put it in a drawer. Keep it charged up so if you ever need a phone.
Yeah, definitely. So seems like a good phone. As far as other news this week, there are a couple of stories we have here. One of them is really strange.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, Huawei is they made a phone for KFC's 30th anniversary in China.
Yeah. And okay, and here's the thing, to us that sounds funny and stupid. In China, KFC is huge. It is the largest restaurant franchise in the country.
That blows my mind. I hate KFC. I'm sorry. It's the worst chicken ever. They have special chickens in China. I don't know, man. It's awful here.
They have something like 6,000 restaurants in China. Something like that. It is ridiculous. But so the phone, it's another thing. It's what is the actual name of the phone?
It's called the KFC Huawei 7 Plus.
Yeah, but it's just like a modified version of another phone that exists. I can't remember the name of it though. But at any rate, it's something. I think it's something 7 Plus. But at any rate, so it's red because of course, and it has the KFC Colonel logo laser etched on the back, which is great.
Is it greasy all the time too? So it slides up your hand every time you pick it up.
There's a button on the side. When you press it, it dispenses chicken grease.
Actually, Jeff, it ships in a tub of coleslaw.
Does it give you a heartburn when you just look at it? Because that's the special feature of KFC for me, man.
It doesn't have a case. You actually just place it between two biscuits.
And slather it, bake honey and butter.
Somehow they will always forget to include the biscuits, though.
If you're in a bad way,
man. Yeah,
you can actually eat this phone. It is made of chicken.
Is it organic or is no?
Original recipe or extra crispy?
That depends how hot it is.
They partnered with Willy Wonka to make it taste like chicken when you lick it.
Man, Chick-fil-A needs to go to China. They'd freaking kill it there. If KFC is the standard for chicken in China, man.
Okay, it is. By the way, it is a Huawei Enjoy 7 Plus. That is the actual phone that it is.
Yeah,
okay, so it has a fingerprint sensor on the back though, right above the kernel. So that's nice.
Grease resistant.
Unfortunately, you can't touch the kernel's face to unlock the phone.
That would have been genius. They should have done that. Okay, no.
That would have been actually kind of awesome.
I think my favorite thing about this phone though is that it comes with a KFC music app. It is an Android app.
They have music.
It is
really.
It is a KFC branded music app that you can use to create playlists, and then when you're in a KFC restaurant, you can share them to the store's music player system or whatever.
Oh my gosh,
this is crazy.
I want the APK for that music app.
It reads like an April Fool's post. It really does. If I hadn't seen it in July, I would have expected it to be an April Fool's.
Yeah, but then again, China. So
that's true.
Oh, okay, well that's fun. The other story we have on track here is not very interesting. I don't care about BlackBerry fixing the key one's durability problems. Does anybody care?
Also, we don't know if they actually fixed it. They just said they're gonna fix it.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Well, I'm sure they'll send Jerry Rig Everything a new one, definitely.
It's the thought that counts.
Okay, so I think that about covers it for us this week. Thank you for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you next time. Stop the recording there. I'm going to stop the broadcast. Just a moment.